My boyfriend's best friend lives with us and I don't like it. Let's find out why. The story came February 7th, 2021. For background, I am a 27-year-old woman. My boyfriend, 28 male, and I have lived together in our 2-bedroom house for about 2 years now. We live in a suburb outside a city in the US. We met about 4.5 years ago when working at the same place, and we have been together now for 4 years. We had planned to get married last summer, but had to cancel due to the pandemic. We both have parents who have health conditions and we wanted them to be able to attend. We are waiting for the vaccine to get more available to have our wedding, since a wedding is something we both want. A wedding, it says. My boyfriend has a friend who I will call Bill. 28 male. Bill and my boyfriend have been friends since childhood and they attended school together. As children, Bill and my boyfriend were very close and they did many things together. As I understand it, Bill's family was pretty dysfunctional, so my boyfriend and his parents, who are both in their late 50s, provided a lot of stability for him. Bill didn't go to college and my boyfriend did, but they remained good friends as we all live in the same area. The entire time I've been with my boyfriend, he and Bill have been very close, and I've also gotten to know Bill. Before the pandemic, we would often go on double dates with Bill and Bill's girlfriend. This will become relevant later, but Bill always had many girlfriends, with the relationships never lasting very long. My boyfriend has implied to me that this stems from commitment issues from his childhood, but as someone who isn't by any means a psychologist, I can't speak to this. I have always liked Bill. He's friendly, kind, he's funny. He's always been a great friend to my boyfriend, and I've gotten to a point where I consider him a friend, although not as close as him and my boyfriend. In May of 2020, Bill lost his job and was unable to pay his rent. At the time, he didn't have a partner, again, no stable girlfriends, and he had no family to rely on. My boyfriend offered for him to stay with us. He asked me first, and I said I was happy to help Bill out until he got on his feet again, assuming that it was temporary. At this point, Bill has been living with us since May, and to put it bluntly, I'm getting tired of it. August, he was able to find a new job. While I don't know the details, it pays comparably to his last one. In response, he has helped with the utility bills and with the groceries, but made no move to actually move out. Right, because this story is in February and he got a new job in August. Now, I like Bill, and he's a good guest, but I feel like it's time for him to find his own place. Our house is very small, so it feels like I'm never alone with my boyfriend. It is always me, my boyfriend, and Bill. That would be like you're a permanent third wheel. Constantly. You live in third wheel all the time. This is amplified because we are all in the area that has a lot of the vid cases, so we're all working from home and quarantining for the most part. In our country, many things are closed, so it's not even like my boyfriend and I can go on a date alone to a restaurant or something because of the pandemic. I didn't even think of that added layer. You're literally stuck in a house as a third wheel. With the third wheel. Around New Year's, I brought it up to my boyfriend about Bill finding his own place while Bill was not present. While my boyfriend wasn't mad at me, he explained that he feels like we need to be there for Bill in his time of need. When I pointed out that Bill has a job and is much more financially secure now, my boyfriend said that Bill would be lonely if he moved into an apartment by himself now because of the pandemic. Furthermore, my boyfriend said that Bill was there for him when his brother passed. Oh, my boyfriend's brother, that is, passed away in a tragic accident when they were all teenagers. Because of that, he says that he should be there for Bill now. He also said that he considers Bill a brother and is happy to do whatever for him. He brought up how my sister, 30 female, stayed with us for a month in the past when she was trying to get out of an abusive relationship. Coming out of that talk, I guess I've been confused. I go back and forth between feeling like I'm irrational to want Bill out of the house and then feeling like it's justified. Maybe I'm being too harsh about the whole situation, I don't know. From our talk, it doesn't seem like my boyfriend minds Bill living with us at all. I suppose I don't know where to go from here. Should I just let it all be and assume Bill will move out when he's ready? Should I talk to my boyfriend again? Should I bring it up with Bill? I considered doing this, but I was worried it would be inhospitable and not my place. And he's much closer with my boyfriend. Anyway, thank you for any advice you can give me. I'm just torn. Why does Bill want to live there still? I don't know. Like once I lived with roommates. For many years of my life, I lived with roommates because I had no other choice, couldn't afford it financially. And when I had the opportunity, when rent plummeted during the pandemic in Toronto, I was able to afford my own one bedroom and it was glorious. Put me alone. Having your own space, especially living with a couple, that's different. So I'm just surprised that Bill wouldn't want to move out now that he can. Let's see what Reddit is saying. Let's check out some comments. Someone commented and said, your boyfriend isn't being fair comparing a single month for your sister with the 8 months of Bill. Hardly on the same scale. If the only reason is he'll be lonely, it's not as if you want him to be removed from your lives completely or that you are banning him from visiting. Does he really have no other friends or relatives to talk to? Does he not have a phone? OP responded and said, right? That's exactly what I thought. And yes, I'm happy with Bill being in our lives. I just don't want him literally living with us. As for relatives, from what I understand, Bill's parents were addicts. His mother passed away a few years ago, my boyfriend went to the funeral, and he's not in contact with his father. He has a half-brother who lives in another state that he talks with occasionally. Still, he considers my boyfriend's family his family, and he lived with them at various times as a kid, though to my knowledge, there was no formal agreement. Most holidays, he comes to my boyfriend's parents with us. They have other friends and a friend group that consists mostly of my boyfriend's college friends. Pre-pandemic, they would all go out drinking. I don't believe he's very close with any of them, though, just my boyfriend. But still, we're all adults. Like, he can't live with us till the pandemic's over. That pandemic lasted years.
You can't sit with us!
Next comment. Ask him what his timeline on Bill moving out is. It doesn't need to be an exact day, but something to give you an idea of what he is asking of you here. Whatever else is the case, you deserve a rough timeline. Remember that this is your house too. There should be no situation involving people staying here that you both don't agree on. OP said, I'm a bit too much of a people pleaser and sometimes struggle with getting my opinions heard. The last time I talked with my boyfriend, he said that maybe when things settled down with the pandemic, I might talk to him and try to get a more specific timeline. Bizarre. This is a little bit bizarre to me. I don't know. I'm a little confused. Next comment. Your boyfriend does not mind Bill living there. His statement about Bill being lonely says all you need to know. You are in a throuple and are finally looking up. This has been going on since Bill was dating. They set the scene and it has continued until you realize you didn't sign up for a roommate. Bill has been there for almost a year. You need an exact move out date. Is he paying bills? Are they split 3 ways? It sounds like you might need an ultimatum. It doesn't sound like your boyfriend will ask him to move out date for Bill, or leave. Woo, people of Reddit, they got some high opinions on this. She responded and said, yes, over the summer, Bill started paying a fair portion of the bills. My boyfriend worked it out with him. I'm not quite sure what you mean by a throuple. I looked it up, and are you implying that my boyfriend and Bill have something non-platonic between them? I really don't think that is the case. Just good, slightly codependent friends and brothers. I'm going to bring it up with my boyfriend again and try to set a plan for Bill to leave. I just thought she meant like throuple in a joking way, like bromance, you know, like they have a bromance and like you're the third wheel in their bromance. That's how I took it. I didn't take that as like a serious concern. Should we? The next update came 5 days later. We're now at February 12th, still in 2021. I took advice from some of the commenters and I decided I was going to talk to both my boyfriend and Bill about Bill moving out. On Tuesday morning, when my boyfriend was out jogging, I asked Bill when he thought he was going to get his own place. I tried to be casual and non-judgmental about it. Bill responded in stride, apologizing for staying with us for so long and saying that he had been looking for an apartment. I took this as a good sign. On Wednesday, my boyfriend had a big presentation at work. It was virtual, so I decided to bring it up with him on Thursday after dinner. Bill was in his bedroom and my boyfriend and I were watching TV in the living room. I told my boyfriend that I had talked to Bill about moving out and it sounded like he had been planning to do so soon. I honestly assumed that if he was truly planning to move out, he would have already told my boyfriend as they are so close. My boyfriend was immediately unhappy and told me that I shouldn't have told Bill that I wanted him to move out, which wasn't even what I said, because it probably made him feel bad. I told him that Bill didn't didn't seem fazed by it, but my boyfriend said that I don't know Bill well enough to tell. He then started talking about how Bill has mental health issues such as depression and anxiety, and living with us was helping him get over them. This is the first time I have heard such a thing, though obviously I don't know everything about Bill and he could very well be having these issues. I was starting to get upset by this point and I told him that that was too bad if Bill has these issues, but they weren't our problem and that Bill still was intruding on our home and our relationship. We started fighting to a point where I was nearly crying. At this point, Bill came out of his bedroom. Our house is a one-story, so everything is pretty close together. He must have heard us and said that he was leaving if it was causing so much stress. My boyfriend tried to stop him, but he left in his car, though all of his stuff was still at our place. After that, my boyfriend and I exchanged a few words, and I finally told him that I didn't want to fight that night when we were both tired and emotional, and I was going to stay the night at my sister's. I took my laptop for work and a change of clothes, and I went to the apartment my sister lives in about 15 minutes away with her daughter, who is an 8-year-old female. Yes, I know this sounds a bit hypocritical, but I was only planning on staying at my sister's for the night, not months. Well, yeah. I worked online from my sister's during the day. My boyfriend did not call me, and I did not call him. When I got out of work at 3, I drove back to my house to try to talk with my boyfriend. He wasn't there, and neither was Bill. This is odd, as we both work remotely during the day, and we usually work until 4 or 5. All their stuff is still here, so obviously Bill hasn't moved out. I've tried calling both of them and they didn't pick up. I fed our cat and I'm just kind of sitting here waiting for them to call me back. I don't really know what to do. On another note, I've gotten several calls from my boyfriend's mother during the day. I didn't pick up, mainly because I was working, but also because I really didn't want her to be involved in everything that was going on. For reference, my boyfriend's mother and I are not particularly close. We talk on holidays or at family get-togethers, and when she calls our home to talk to my boyfriend, but not much outside of that. While she's always been nice to me, to my face, I know she disapproves of us living together before marriage, as she's very religious. She also had some disagreements with my boyfriend about us not going to church frequently, but these have largely ended due to the pandemic. Needless to say, she doesn't really call me regularly, so I think her calls are probably about this situation, but I honestly have no clue what she could possibly have to say about it. Oh, see, I'm just so nosy that I would answer to be like, what do you want though? Now I need to know what you want and why you're calling me.
I got to know!
And if it was about that, then just say, we're not talking about this. I'm also confused as to why my boyfriend would even involve her, as they aren't very close. He talks to her regularly, but more just out of obligation. I'm not sure if maybe he or Bill are at her place. I don't know. I guess I'm asking for advice. My sister thinks that I should break up with my boyfriend. I'm not sure. We've planned and we've built a life together. We've been planning a wedding. If it weren't for the pandemic, we would already be married. I love him. However, on the other hand, I feel slighted and unimportant. It's Valentine's Day weekend and he's not even here and is off who knows where. I'm just so confused and it feels like I don't even understand what is going on anymore. How could Bill be more important than me? I don't get it. Any input would be appreciated. I feel like I need an outside perspective. I'm sorry if it doesn't make any sense. I'm pretty upset and emotional. And then she made a bunch of edits, like in real time after that, to this post. So we're gonna read. There's 3 of them, which means that stuff was happening in real time. And I like that. All right, the first edit. Just talked to my boyfriend's mother. Apparently my boyfriend called Thursday night and said that he was going up to their cabin this weekend. It's about an hour away with Bill. She couldn't get a hold of either of them and was calling me to see if I could because she wanted to remind them of how to take care of the cabin. I assume that they're up there. The service is sketchy there, so that might be why I can't get a hold of them either. That's so bizarre. Like, that's your life partner. You guys would already be married by now, and you get in a fight and he just takes off with his best friend and your roommate to a cabin and doesn't talk to you? I don't know about this.
No,
Don't like that.
Next edit. I just woke up a few minutes ago. Still can't get into contact with my boyfriend. I'm planning on going over to my sister's and talking it over with her. If we still can't get in contact, we might just go up to the cabin. I don't know. She doesn't have her daughter this weekend because she's with her ex. Go up to the cabin. If I'm not getting, I'm going to the cabin. Literally pick me up on the way. I'm going with you. Next edit. I did not go to the cabin in the end. I left a voicemail to my boyfriend saying that I was worried and concerned and to please call me back. At the urging of my sister, I told him that his mom had told me where he was and that I was worried and I would come up there if I didn't hear back from him. After that, he did get back to me and we talked briefly. He said he just needed to blow off some steam and that's why he went away. He said he would be back Monday and we would talk then. We both have work off for President's Day. Oh my God, it's Valentine's Day weekend. He apologized for missing Valentine's Day. I don't know. I felt bad, but I tried to stay calm because I didn't want to cause a scene. He initially said he was up there alone, but when I pointed out that his mom said Bill was there with him, he agreed that Bill was with him. So he lied to you. This kind of made me feel a little bit weird. I don't know. I asked if Bill was okay and he said yes, that he's fine, which is good. After seeing some of the things you guys commented, I was worried. All right, and then her edits stopped there for that update. So I still think I would have went to the cabin, but I forgot the fact that this was Valentine's Day weekend. Something fishy, like something's going on. Now I want to check out what Reddit is saying. Someone commented and said, this seems weird as hell. Does your boyfriend plan on having Bill live with you forever? OP said, yes, it feels weird to me too. He has said that he wants him to stay there at least through the pandemic. I don't know. He seems to like having Bill around, so I don't even know anymore. Next comment, is there any chance your boyfriend is in love with Bill? So not platonic. Is that what we're suggesting here? They did spend Valentine's Day weekend in a cabin together, but I'm not trying to jump to that conclusion by any means. Interesting. She wrote, I don't know. I never thought so. My sister had suggested it, but I never thought so. My boyfriend has always told me they were like brothers and that they grew up together. I'm pretty sure I would know if they'd been doing anything these past months as I was working from home. I guess it's possible. They are close, but I always assumed brothers. Okay, well that could change everything, but we're not going to accuse anyone of that. Next comment. Bill sounds more relaxed than your boyfriend. He's like, okay, I'll figure it out. To be honest, the people you grew up with are very important. In a sense, is your sister more important than your boyfriend? Bill is very important to your boyfriend. However, Bill sounds very nice while your boyfriend is jumping the gun. She responded and said, yes, obviously he could be a good actor, but he seemed relatively chill with it. I mean, when it comes down to it, my sister is probably more important to me than my boyfriend. I would do anything for her, and I have always been there for her in the time of need. That said, I don't know if I'd want her to live with us indefinitely if she needed to. Yeah, boyfriend seems so much more worried about the whole thing than Bill is. I don't know what to make of it. Like, Bill sounds down to move out. It is your boyfriend who seems to be like clinging on to him living there. Next comment, why does your sister want you to end things? I feel like it must be more than just this. Does he have a habit of freezing you out? At this point, if this was my fiance, regardless if I was in a fight, I would be filing a missing persons report because that is all that would make sense. If this doesn't surprise you or your sister, he's doing this, that is just not okay and extremely childish. She said, my sister feels like he doesn't think enough of me in the relationship. She thinks that in these past months, he should have been more concerned with my well-being when instead he was hanging out with Bill. We're very close, and so she's had to hear a lot of my troubles. She also thinks the situation overall is weird and that if Bill was her boyfriend's best friend, she would have kicked his butt to the curb a while ago. Kind of unrelated, but she also does think my boyfriend and Bill are weirdly close and has suggested that they have some sort of relationship. I never believed that, and I always thought she was just vigilant because her boyfriend cheated on her in the past. While we mostly get along, my boyfriend has taken off when we've fought before and not come back for a few days. Couldn't be me. Mostly, I think he's with Bill during these times. He's also lied to me in the past about seemingly unimportant things. So there's that. Girl, it sounds like we got some underlying issues here. I don't know if this is just about Bill. Next comment. If someone hasn't said it yet, for your safety, at the first signs of possible cheating, please get tested. She said, I did get tested. So far, they've all come back negative, waiting on one result, but so far, so good. We do have a final update though, and I'm very curious to see how this plays out. So we're gonna drink a sip of water. It's hydration station. We'll be fast. Cheers. Oh, not gonna break my camera in the meantime. One thing about Lila is she will move pillows and make sure she gets on top of the tower. Isn't that right? She's like, I know you're talking about me. I got no shame in my game. I will always find her on top of a pillow mountain somewhere in the house. Queen, excuse me. If you're gonna sit on your throne, sit on it, girl. Be proud. The final update came February 16th, 4 days later. Oh, right off the bat, my now ex-boyfriend came back around noon with Bill. Bill briefly apologized to me for everything that had happened and then went back to his room. My boyfriend, I'm still calling him this to reduce confusion, and I talked in the living room of our house alone without Bill. I started and I told him that I was sorry for overreacting on Thursday, but that I felt by running away and lying to me, he breached my trust. I told him that I felt that we should break up. My boyfriend agreed with me. He apologized for everything he did, for missing Valentine's Day, for running away all weekend, for everything with Bill. He sounded sincere. He was crying. I asked him why he reacted the way he did. You guys who said he was in a relationship with Bill were right. Oh my God. Okay. Whoa. According to him, he and Bill fooled around, his words, not mine, as kids, but stopped when my boyfriend's brother passed away when they were 17 years old. He said they were not involved with each other since then, but were just close friends. He said that things developed after Bill moved back in with us, but that it was never his intention, and that's not why Bill moved in with us. He claims he did not have sex with Bill while he was living with us, but that they did things this past weekend at the cabin. I don't know if that's true, though. I doubt they could have been hooking up a lot because our place was so small and I was usually around. He said that when I confronted Bill about moving out, Bill in turn confronted him about deciding what he wanted. He says he freaked out and that he was confused and scared and overreacted and treated me badly. He says that he is not gay or bisexual and insisted that he was straight and that he loved me. It was just a very emotional conversation. We were both crying. In the end, I told him that I'm going to move out and that he could stay there because it sounded like Bill would be staying there too. I'm staying at my sister's now with my cat and I'm going to start looking for an apartment. I'm doing okay. I'm still struggling and feel pretty horrible, but I'm starting to realize that it was probably good all of this came out before he became my husband. Yeah, I would say. What a plot twist. All right. We're gonna check out the last few comments because we love to hear from the people of Reddit. Someone said, I don't know what things entail, but it sounds like he's not even ready to admit that he might be gay or bi. At least he can no longer waste your time while he figures it out. It sucks, but yeah, ultimately it's for the best. Never look back. She responded and said, yeah, I don't know either. I didn't want to know, honestly. It hurts now, but I'm glad I found out before we got married. Yeah. Next comment. What a roller coaster. Sorry it ended, especially the way it did. Besides your living arrangements and mentally, has this affected you any other way, like your job? How long do you think it will take to get your own place? OP said, it was certainly unexpected. I am fortunate to have a pretty well-paying job, so I'm in a decent place financially. I'm working on getting into a lease for a new apartment right now, actually. Okay. Well, blessing in disguise. For everyone, honestly, because that's a very tricky, messy situation where all parties were involved in some way, and there was a lot of emotion happening that we all didn't know about, and there's a lot to figure out there. Blessing in disguise before you guys committed the rest of your lives to each other, and wish each other well and be on our way. I don't know how to process this fully. Let me know your thoughts and feelings, you guys. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.